Good afternoon. My name is Edgar Hernandez, and I'm a game programmer, and this is the program that I have written for the contest. Let's get started. After the great detective solved the mystery of why the poor town of Byzantium has disappeared from the map, you arrive at the town to enjoy its traditional celebration. However, due to the shortage of staff members for Festival Byzantium, you were chosen to help out bring joy and glory to the poor town of Byzantium. Right now, there are multiple choices that you need to decide on for the festival, and you were given a list of things that can determine whether the festival will be a massive hit or just fall shy of the people's expectations. You take a look at the list: meat gathering, harvest, and games. Those are three neat things, so let's go for number two. Chose to head to the fields where all of the berry bushes are full. Picking out the berries from the bushes, you placed them in the basket that you were provided with and got a massive haul. Perfect. What do you want to do next? Let's do meat gathering. Chosen to go to the hunting ground and have gathered lots of meat. Oh yeah, once this meat is cooked, it will make your mouth water. What do you want to gather next? Well, let's go with games. I'm gonna gather lots of games. So we decided to help out build a game for the festival. After 30 minutes, you manage to construct a mini game that can be played at the festival. We have arrived at the ending comparison. Oh joy. So what did we get? You have gathered all of the items on the list evenly. And just in time too. Festival Byzantium has begun and there were so many people. With the meat that you have gathered, many ordered steak dishes as the haul of the meat was fresh and perfect. Sweet. With the amount of berries that you have gathered, different types of slushies were made, and the lines for that one was so long that you preferred to gather berries later so you could make your own. Well, of course, I wouldn't want to stand on that line. Last but not least, all of the games that you brought in encouraged so many people to compete against each other, especially the darts game. Many would spend so much money as they attempted to get the highest score possible and have bragging rights. I honestly would too. As nightfall arrived, so many gathered to see the fireworks show. And as you were watching it, you started to think about that with your efforts, you helped the festival to be a success. As you are heading home, you overheard that many people want to come back next year. You smile as you know that the march on Festival Byzantium will return for another explosive experience. The end. Alright, it looks like we got the best ending possible. And I hope you have enjoyed this demonstration of the program that I provided for the contest. So this is the after recording of the first video that I have done. I know I said that we were finished, but we're not done just yet. Let me give you a closer look of how the code has been prepared for this little interactive adventure. So I have four different types of counters, excuse me. Action points are the ones that determine how many times we're going into a specific for loop that we're going to take a look in a minute. And these three counters tells us how many times we have arrived in said specific modules that are further within the main code of the public class main. Here is where I have prepared a scanner object so that we can then record the choice that has been made by the user. So once this program starts, it's going to start us off with 3 points so far. And this is just a reference of the title of the interactive adventure. And this is the description of how the story goes by. Then it prints out what you have read in the first part of the video. And then this is one of the modules that will take us to the list that was provided within the program. So once we go here, we are then called over here into the static void list. Then we enter into this while loop. And these action points are the ones that we saw at the beginning of the program. And as long as this is higher than 0, we'll keep looping through this list. And this is just another space right here that I've placed here. And then here is when the choice that the user inputs is read. Then it goes into many if statements that will then determine which one of these modules are we going to enter. If nothing else properly was inputted, you're going to get a message that says we're only accepting the numbers shown as answers. Please try again. And we'll get to take a look at that in a second. Then once we have made the proper inputs, we're going to go into the appropriate sections with the meat gathering. Yummy meat. And within each of the modules for meat, harvest, and games, I have placed this specific print statement just to double check to make sure that this is properly transitioning to these modules appropriately. Then once it goes through here, it will increase the meat points by 1. This is the increment statement. And then this is the decrement statement appropriately. So this is comparing that they're taking in, they're increasing the appropriate amounts for the global integers that were declared at the beginning. And then this commented out print statement will double check to make sure that these numbers are coming out appropriately. So you're more than welcome to test that out whenever you decide to download this program. And then once this will compare the global integer up above if it equals 0. So then we go on about and loop back. And then what do you choose to gather next? It's printed out and it'll come back over here. And then same goes for the other one that I said, print statements, just to make sure that they're taking in those amounts. And last but not least, we get to the ending comparison. It's going to read through this list of comparisons to determine which type of ending we got. To get the best ending, you need to make sure that the 3 different types of counters are the same. Then if it's not like that, then we compare if the meat had more or if the harvest was more. And if it was the other one, then this lonely else statement will print out the ending for the games. Once we get through that type of comparison, we make the appropriate exit statement to make sure that this is exiting the program appropriately. And this is the print statement to make sure that the print statement goes out fluently and displays everything. So for a quick demonstration, we're going to see that once we run it, we're going to do one. Let me make this higher. Sorry about that. I'm going to do one again. And you see that it's done the same. And then we pick 2. And then we got to the appropriate ending, different ending of the meets, and then we got the question mark, the end. And it's been done this way so that it gets you curious, okay, what would have happened if I did this step or the other step. And a quick run through that if we do not make the appropriate choice right here, then it's going to keep loop you back to the list again to make sure that you're doing it correctly. So then it's going to go that, it's going to go this, and it's going to go that. And that is how the code was implemented for this interactive adventure. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice, wonderful afternoon.